Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider podcast. And it's great to have you with me today. We are going to continue to talk about the Raiders quarterback situation that dominates the narrative. I'd like to take you back with me, and you're allowed, obviously, to go back and watch the podcast from the NFL owners' meetings last year. Um, where I told you then, before it was popular, that the discussion around the NFL was that the Raiders were kicking tires and definitely looking towards trade for a quarterback. Now, you saw that with Matthew Stafford. I talked yesterday about possible interest in JJ McCarthy. Let me start there for a moment. Boy, I sent anger through Minnesota Viking fans, and it really wasn't fair because I wasn't the one that did it. It's people who are unscrupulous. But I reported yesterday that if the Vikings were able to secure Sam Darnold to a multi-year deal, could that open up the door for the Raiders to, if JJ McCarthy became available, to trade for him? And I said, if he was available, there would absolutely be interest from the Las Vegas Raiders. When it came again, there would be great interest from the Raiders. I never said that the Vikings were going to trade him. I said if they were going to. But see, that's what happens. People take one thing, they run with it. Some guy goes out, writes a story. Raider beat Raider says they're going to want to trade. I can't control stupid. But the point of the matter is that there's another angle that I think you have to look at this as well. What would JJ McCarthy's reaction be? What would that reaction be if they sign him to a multi-year deal? Nobody knows. So I'm just telling you that I know that there would be interest on the Raiders if they hadn't addressed the quarterback situation in JJ McCarthy. Everything I've told you on Sam Darnold going back to the owners' meeting has been 100% accurate. And now we continue to see that there are reports that they're trying to get a deal done with Sam. I have to wait and see now. We know that the Vikings are run by analytics people who are people that look at analysis. And one NFL executive told me, if you're not a football guy and you're an analytics guy, you look at here comes an unproven rookie off a meniscus injury and a guy that just led you to 14 wins. Okay, if you can trade the guy with the meniscus, albeit what I'm hearing recovered, it's percentage wise are in your benefit. And I think the Raiders would absolutely be interested in JJ. I know that factually. And I would tell you, if I was the Raiders GM, and I was asked this the other day in one of my question answers, someone said, if you were the GM, which obviously I'm not, I would want JJ McCarthy. And I think that would be a great deal for them. But again, the Vikings have to be willing to trade him. And you never know. JJ may say, hey, I'm willing to stay a backup for a couple of years. It's good money. Wait my turn. He may be a guy that says, no, I want to compete. I want to go. He's a Michigan man. So you know he's going to feel a strong draw to a Brady, but maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he wants to stay in the Midwest. We just don't know. I'm just throwing all those things out there for you. But we do know that the Raiders are actively, trade is still something they're looking at. And they're calling teams. Is your guy available? Is this guy available? What's available? They are working fervently to get this settled. I talked with an NFL person today who just said they are out there doing their due diligence, and which is exactly what you expect from Tom Brady. He's the greatest of all time quarterback. Mark Davis has made it clear he's the guy that's going to select our quarterback, and they're looking for proven guys. They want proven guys, and they want someone there that can either help young guys come along or some guy that can take the reins, which Stafford, he'd be taking the reins, would have been taking the reins for 2 years and helping guys come along. But that is exactly what they're doing. And I think you have to, because as you saw last year with Jaden Daniels, this is a quarterback driven league, essentially the same team. But you added Jaden Daniels, now you're a playoff team. It is a monster situation that you have to look at from every single angle. And if you are a person like me and like the current Raider leadership who share my opinion that this is not a rebuild, it is a reload, then you have to realize, man, there's a lot of talent here. We had a bunch of guys injured that are going to hopefully be back, hopefully meaning their terms. And if we go get a quarterback, we're instantly competitive. And JJ certainly, I think until the Vikings, we know what the Vikings are going to do with Sam Darnold, which we don't know. And then until we get some feeling of what the organization says, you don't know. Now, here's an important point that one of my confidants and close friends brought up to me earlier, and I thought was absolutely brilliant analysis, is we don't know what all of their thinking is, but nor should we. If I'm JJ McCarthy's people and I'm hearing that they're now not going to franchise him, they're going to try to work out a long-term deal. Okay. I'm I'm going to sit back and watch. I'm going to sit back and wait. I'm going to sit back and explore. I'm going to sit back and let it come to me. Now, let me talk about, we've talked about JJ, but I'm going to give you another one that you've not heard. I am told by NFL people that they believe there is a legitimate chance, not saying probable, but I am saying possible, that Geno Smith is one of those names that the Raiders are looking at for a quarterback next year. Okay. I am not saying anything is imminent, but I am saying I'm hearing it from NFL people that they're hearing it. And when I reached out to someone earlier today to ask their opinion, who would be in direct knowledge, all I was told was, I'd rather not comment on that. So you can read that however you want. I think JJ McCarthy is an absolute play if Minnesota does a long-term deal with Sam. And then if JJ would want to be traded and Minnesota would be willing to trade him, I think he's absolutely in play. I think Geno would be in play. None of this at this point, right now, this second, at the time of this taping, is imminent. I'm not even saying that it's going to happen because there's too many ifs, ands, or buts, but it is certainly probable. But when I talk to two people, when I talk to multiple people about the trades around the NFL, the names I keep hearing, JJ and Geno. And I've heard Geno for quite a bit, but that talk has really heated up in the last 30 hours. So that is where the Raiders quarterback situation sits literally right now. A couple of other things I want to talk about. Trey Hendrickson, NFL's leading sack leader out of Cincinnati. Interesting stuff that I'm hearing there. I'm being told that if a trade happens, they could probably be gotten for a 2. Now, let me ask you this, Raider Nation. Would you be willing to go get Hendrickson, who's 30, just turned 30, he's a young 30? Would you be willing to trade a 2 for him to put on the other side across from Max? Or would you rather go with the younger guy with a less track record of experience in Malcolm Kuntz? Now, Hendrickson's going to cost you a lot more money, but he's a sure thing. Now, let me just tell you this. You put Max Hendrickson, Christian Wilkins, and Adam Butler on the same defensive line, and there is no doubt that is the best defensive line in the National Football League. I have not heard one peep that the Raiders have kicked the tires. But that is such a low price. Would you not make that? Or do you at least not say to the Saints, I mean, to the Bengals, we need to talk what would his salary demands look like? Throwing that out there. That was presented to me this morning by somebody, and I wanted to bring it up on the podcast. Okay, last thing that I want to dig in on, um, that I think is of value, of great value, especially when it comes to the Raiders. We know we're coming up towards the 10th. We know that that's coming, and it's on the way. Everybody's aware of it. Here is the thing: is I know that the Raiders have engaged in discussions with more of their free agents. I anticipate we're going to hear more about that pretty quickly. Do I think anything is imminent? As of just before I taped this, I was told nothing imminent. And I said, probable? They said, yes. They said, yes. But I said, possible? Absolutely 100% possible. Probable? Yeah, probable. So we're waiting to hear the next domino piece to fall with Raider free agents there. So there is a lot going on. To recap, I want to put into focus, not saying that Minnesota has put JJ on the trading block at all, not even remotely implying that. But there are a lot of reasons to think that could happen. And if it did, the Raiders are players. We talked about Geno Smith. I'm hearing from NFL people that's absolutely the Raiders are on that, kicking that they've kicked those tires. Well, let me phrase that. Either Seattle's reached out to them or they've reached out to Seattle, but there has been, there could be commonality of interest, is the term that I was told. We touched on Trey Hendrickson, which would be an interesting piece. That was brought to me by an NFL person who knows Spytech well, who knows Pete Carroll well, both of them. I know they know Tom. I don't know how much they know Tom, but they're like, this would be their kind of move. Just keep bolstering the lines, just keep building and bolstering. So those are all names to be considered. Those are all names to absolutely be discussed as we watch where this is going, as we head towards that legal tampering, which comes uh, uh, on Monday. That comes on Monday. So there's a lot of moving pieces here. You're going to want to keep it locked in with us. We're going to have everything for you. We're going to be bringing it to you. We'll be bringing you updates. Remember, si.com/NFL/Raiders. But the big news out of this is, regardless of what you hear people say, I say, listen to the podcast and you'll hear what I say. But Geno Smith, it's a very interesting one. And we'll see how that goes. Then what would the Seahawks do? Doesn't matter. I don't cover the Seahawks, but I'm throwing that out there to you. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you greatly. We'll have plenty more. Thank you, and we'll get back with you real soon.